Good evening everybody and welcome to round 5 of the UK&I Monday Night Skippys here at the Hungaroring, sponsored by the Cam Zone, the campaign against living miserably. My name is Ryan Walker and today this will be round 5 of the UK&I Monday Night Skippys like I mentioned, and we're in the middle of qualifying at the moment, and it's hard to believe it's the 5th round of the championship already. It seems that it's gone by really quickly, as on your screen now we've got the schedule, and we're at the Hungaroring at the moment, and as you see the rest of the tracks on the screen, round 6 will be at Laguna Seca, followed by Stettin using the 200 layout, and then Mid-Ohio for round 8. And round 9 heads to the Nürburgring, but not the Nordschleife. It'll be the JP layout with the round 10 at the Red Bull Ring, followed by Kota using the West layout, and the last round on December the 6th at Brands Hatch, which should be a good way to round out the season. But we're in the middle of qualifying at the moment, and that's currently being topped by Nathan Wade. And this season so far we've had 4 different winners in the first 4 rounds. Can we get a 5th winner, or 5th different winner tonight, I should say? Well, it'll be interesting to see, and we'll wait to find out. But at the moment, it's qualifying still going on, and at the moment it's all relatively close on the lap times, but it should be a good race here this evening. But the championship's been really close this season. It's hard to predict who's going to take it, but it's been a great fight so far with different winners and a bit of a mix-up. So I think if I was to predict a winner, an underdog winner, I think maybe someone like George Matic could take the win, who's came so close at times last season. Unfortunately made a mistake at Road Atlanta as well that time, but hopefully he can get some redemption tonight. But as we wait for qualifying to get in the books, it's currently Nathan Wade on the pole position, followed by Adam Miles in second, and then George Matic's rounding out the top 3 with Nick Vaughan Roberts in 4th, Seth Brown in 5th, 6th is Andrew Leach, with Clark Williams 7th, Greg Roth in 8th, 9th is Chris Swain, and rounding out the top 10 is Sarah Savage. So it's good to see Sarah back on track as well. So hopefully she can have a good race as well after having a bit of a disaster at the start and in the early of the race last week. As I just waiting for the final drivers to come across the line now at the moment, and it looks like everyone's just about to finish a lap, so anyone that's crossed the line before the checking flag can complete their final lap. It looks like the lap times at the moment, looks like everyone's not really improving their lap times at the moment, so it looks like checking flags out as well, so everyone that's on the final lap when they cross the line, that's pretty much their qualifying finish. But anyone that's watching the broadcast as well, thinking about joining this league, don't hesitate to join, because it's a great bunch of friendly drivers, a friendly community, and everyone's willing to help each other. The race is close, but there's always someone in the field to race against. But this Hungaroring track, it's not been around on iRacing that long. It only recently came out at the end of last season, I believe, and it's a fantastic track. I've done a race around here, and there's plenty of technical corners, high speed corners, medium speed corners, and slow speed corners. But it's your best passing opportunities are going to be into turn 1 or even into turn 4, or if you feel brave, turn 12. And the previous result at Road Atlanta as well, I'll go through it just before qualifying finishes. It was Nick Vaughan Roberts. It was the 4th winner of the season, with George Matic in second, with 3rd place going to Kevin Bergen, and then 4th place was Adam Miles. So that was a great race, and if you haven't watched that broadcast, I would highly recommend going back and watching it back. As the time ticks away in qualifying at the moment, but once the session switches over, we'll take you through the grid. And looking at the turnout as well, a good turnout of cars as well. It's 26 cars at the moment, and it's not a bad turnout. It seems to be as the seasons went on, the turnouts have been getting bigger. As we're just about to roll to the or switch over to the race now, and we'll take you through the grid. As on the front row and taking pole position is Nathan Wade with George Mattock alongside him in second rather. The third place is going to be Adam Miles with Nick Vaughan Roberts alongside him, rounding out the second row. And then on the third row we've got Clark Williams in fifth with Andrew S. Leach in sixth. And then in seventh we've got Seth Brown, Greg Roth in eighth. Ninth is Chris Wayne with Sarah Savage rounding out the top 10. Then Daniel Tufts in 11th. 12th is Martin Armitage. And then 13th we have got Dave Dawson with 14th Patrick Bennett, Christopher Miles in 15th, 16th is Jeff Randall with John McDonald in 17th, 18th is Dave Clapham, 19th is Terry McGrauther, 20th is going to be Tony Stark, Dave Devine in 21st, 22nd is Alan Patterson, 23rd is Jonathan Rex, with 24th going to Craig Tillotson, 25th is Peter Parnell, and Peter Cowan rounding out the grid in 26th. As we're just waiting for another car to join the grid, that's second place George Mattock, and they will be underway in a few moments' time as the engines are revving and the lights are about to go out, and yeah, the green flag's out and we are off for round 5 of the UK&I Monday Night Skippys, as it looks like Nathan Wade gets a great start. As they're all bunching up now, heading down to turn 1. Hopefully these guys don't get caught up with each other, as it looks like everyone's been relatively sensible into turn 1. Nathan Wade has still got the position as Mattock tries to go around the outside and runs a little bit wide, and that gives Adam Miles an opportunity to try and get a run heading down to turn 2. It looks like Mattock's trying to go up the inside of Wade into turn 2. Can he get the move done? He's just about got it done, and Wade's just trying to fight back, but he can't hold the position, so Wade falls from first to down to second, and it looks like Adam Miles and Nick Vaughan Roberts are starting to join this fight as well, as Clark Williams has made a good start as well, currently in 5th place, and riding on board with Vaughan Roberts at the moment, heading through turn 4, and I think these guys might work together to try and get away from the rest of the pack. As they head up to the chicane now, and it looks like everyone's been relatively clean and relatively sensible as we're just about halfway around this first lap. But George Mattock at the moment with a great start to take the lead, and Nathan Wade is trying to take that lead back, but at the moment I think these guys might work together and not try and fight each other at the moment, as it looks like Daniel Tufts has had an incident as we look at the replay. Oh, Tufts gets sideways, and he just tags the wall, and just a case of cold tyres, and Tufts been caught out by that. But as these guys are just about to complete the end of the first lap, it's still Mattock leading from Wade, from Miles, with Vaughan Roberts, and Clark Williams slowly closing up in this battle as well. But as we're just about to complete the end of the first lap, it looks like Alan Patterson and Peter Parnell have unfortunately been first lap retirements from the race so far, as Mattock runs wide on the exit of the final corner, and that gives Nathan Wade a chance to get a run heading over the start finish line. Mattock tries to move across a little bit and try and scare Wade off, but he's not able to do so, as it looks like Adam Miles is maybe thinking about taking a look as well, but decides against it. As Wade looks up into turn 1 and forces Mattock wide ever so slightly, and that gives Adam Miles an opportunity to take another position and move up into second place. Can Nick Vaughan Roberts move up into third? And it looks like he's gained the position. So it's like, just looking at Adam Miles at the moment, he's currently in 4th position, just behind. Adam Miles is in second place. That's George Mattock I was looking at. He's in 4th place at the moment, so Mattock's lost a couple of positions after that little error in turn 1, but I think he might just be happy to sit behind these guys at the moment and maybe just try and pull away from the rest of the pack behind. As you come through this chicane now, one of the trickiest sections of this track I find, because if you don't get it right, you can lose a little bit of time. But at the moment, Nathan Wade's actually building up a bit of a gap already, so starting to pull away ever so slightly, but with that long home straight, that gap will probably come down as Adam Miles at the moment in second, trying to close the gap back down, but has come through this fast right-hander, heading down to this mini hairpin. It's still Wade leading, but I think I don't think Wade will be in the lead for too long, as just watching the gap to this second pack behind. Clark Williams is still keeping in touch with Andrew S. Leitch behind him by the looks of it. As we come back onto the home straight now to complete the end of lap 2, it's still Wade leading, but Wade moving across to try and break that slipstream, try and hold that position from Adam Miles, but it looks like Nick Van Roberts, surprisingly, is not trying to use the slipstream, and Adam Miles pulls out from the slipstream, tries to make a move on the outside. Can he get it done? No, he can't. He might try and do a bit of a cutback, or switchback. On the exit of turn 1, he manages to get the switchback done, and that was a beautiful move, but I don't think he might be able to get the move done on the outside, as Nathan Wade has not given up, and Nathan Wade slides into turn 2 ever so slightly and manages to retake the lead. As further back in the pack as well, we've got this battle for 9th place going on at the moment with Christopher Miles, and it looks like Sarah Savage as well involved with Dave Dawson and Patrick Bennett. And yeah, this has been a close battle since the start of the race, and it looks like Miles is just managing to hold the position, but he runs wide ever so slightly as another car gets slightly sideways in the background there. But Miles goes a little bit wide as well, so yeah, great battle, not just up at the front, but up further down in the pack as well, as Miles is holding the position as they head through the chicane, and that might be a slowdown. But as Sarah actually, it looks like Dave Dawson's took the position from Sarah Savage, but yeah, I'm surprised that wasn't a slowdown from Miles. Just how wide he went in that chicane, but it manages to hold the position, and yeah, fantastic racing at the moment, all throughout the field. As it looks like we've got a move being done as well. It looks like I think that was Sarah Savage trying to make a move by the looks of it. Contact. Yeah, I think that was a bit of an opportunistic move there, and Sarah Savage managed to survive that one. It looks like was that Dave Dawson, and yeah, it was another car involved anyway. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, just a little bit of contact going on there. But luckily, everyone manages to survive and keep going. But back up at the front, they've still got this battle for the lead going on between Wade, Miles and Von Roberts and Mattock, and I think these guys are starting to pull away ever so slightly from Clark Williams as well, who's managing to hold on to that 5th place, with Andrew Leitch not too far behind with Seth Brown as well. So the field at the moment, it's starting to spread out ever so slightly. As these top 4 guys up at the front are still close together, as Adam Miles gets sideways ever so slightly, and starting to feel the pressure from Nick Von Roberts with Mattock behind as well. And I think Mattock might be just slightly frustrated after that mistake on the first couple of laps into turn 1, but manages to keep in contact with these guys, and I think he's maybe just more than content to sit behind Miles and Von Roberts at the moment and just wait until maybe the closing stages to make a move. But at the moment, as we're on lap 4 of 12, it's these guys are starting to scrap away amongst themselves, and this is allowing Wade just to pull away ever so slightly and just build a bit of a comfortable gap at the moment. But as these guys are coming round to complete another lap, just about, I think these guys maybe need to start working together to try and close that gap back up to Nathan Wade. As they come into the final corner now, and Wade actually managed to get a bit of a bigger gap at the moment. It's about half a second, I think, by the looks of it. And as they come across the line now, Wade moves across to the right hand side to try and break that slipstream, but can't really do anything, as Nick Von Roberts puts in the fastest lap of the race so far at a 2:01.2. So yeah, that's yeah, Nick Vaughan Roberts not hanging about, and it looks like he's about to make a move up the inside of Adam Miles as Vaughan Roberts slots up there so slightly and manages to take that second place into turn 1. As Vaughan Roberts gets sideways into turn 2 there, and actually Nathan Wade goes a little bit wide as well, and he's going to feel the pressure from Nick Vaughan Roberts, and I thought there was going to be a bit of contact there. As Wade's trying to hold the position from Adam Miles, who tries to go on the outside. Adam Miles runs wide ever so slightly, and it looks like Adam Miles is feeling the pressure from Nick Vaughan Roberts as well now, so Adam Miles has pretty much been hounded by Mattock and Vaughan Roberts as well, so, and Clark Williams as well, not too far behind, so if any of these guys up at the front end up having issues, Clark Williams could possibly come through to take a few positions and take the lead. And I think if it was going to be a 5th winner of the season, I think the best possibility of that, like I said at the start of the broadcast, is George Mattock. He's sitting there in 4th at the moment, and I think he doesn't look too eager to make a move at the moment. He's maybe just, like I say, he's just wanting to play the patient game, play the long game, and maybe just wait until the final couple of laps to make a move. But as we ride on board with Mattock at the moment, heading through the final corner, just understeering ever so wide, and these skip barbers as well, they're a fun car to drive, but sometimes if you overdrive them, they can bite you. And these guys all starting to slipstream each other, and all moving around trying to get the slipstream and head down to turn 1. And Mattock, I think, trying to get every bit of it, but he's not close enough to make a move. He's going to try and make a move up the inside of Adam Miles. Adam Miles leaves the door open, and that gives George Mattock an opportunity to try and just show the nose there and try and make a move, but he can't make it stick, can't make it through. So George Mattock again stuck in 4th position at the moment. As he comes down the hill now, it looks like Adam Miles tried to make a move on the outside of Vaughan Roberts, and he might be able to make it stick, even though he had to run off track a little bit. And yeah, he does get the move done. So Adam Miles back up into 2nd place with Vaughan Roberts down to 3rd now, and George Mattock waiting in the wings in 4th. And surprisingly, this pack behind with Clark Williams and Andrew Leach and Seth Brown as well are actually not losing too much contact with this front pack. So these guys may be working together as Williams just runs a little bit wide in the chicane, but maybe working together to try and close this pack down. As further down the pack as well, we've got a battle for 10th position going on between Dave Dawson and Chris Wayne, and Tony Stark as well, with Terry McGraugher and Patrick Bennett involved as well. So yeah, plenty of battles going on, but yeah, we're still keeping an eye on this battle up at the front, because these guys have pretty much been going at it since the start of the race, and it's so hard to predict who's going to win. But it's a fantastic battle nevertheless, with Miles holding on to that 2nd place, and Wade doing a good job of soaking up the pressure. As we come back onto the home straight now to complete the end of lap 6, and again Nathan Wade moves to the right trying to break that slipstream, but Miles and Vaughan Roberts and Mattock try and tuck in behind him, moving to the right to keep that slipstream, as it looks like Miles and Vaughan Roberts are getting a little bit closer company heading into turn 1. Vaughan Roberts getting the move done on the outside of Adam Miles. It looks like he can, but he gets a bit sideways on the exit there, and Adam Miles is going to hold on to that 2nd place, and George Mattock is trying to take the opportunity of that mistake from Vaughan Roberts to try and take 3rd place, but again, he can't do anything about Vaughan Roberts, and unfortunately he has to stay in 4th. But as we look at this battle for 12th place at the moment, with Tony Stark and Terry McGraugher, and not too far behind as well, we've got Patrick Bennett as well, the 79 car, just watching these guys at the moment. So Patrick having a good race in 14th, and yeah, it's good to see Tony Stark back on track as well. I think he missed last week, or he's not done as many rounds this season, I believe, but I'm happy to be corrected if that's wrong, but Stack gets a little bit sideways, and that allows McGrofer to try and maybe do a switch back, but Stack does well to place his car in the middle, the middle of the corner to hold that position. As I come through this twisty section now, and probably one of my favourite parts of the track. It's so technical, and it's so rewarding when you get it right. But looking further back at the pack as well, we've got this battle with Jeff Randall, and it looks like Jonathan Rex by the looks of it. So yeah, these guys they're battling for 17th and 18th position at the moment, and yeah, Jeff Randall's a name I recognise as well. I had I raced in a league race with him last week, and yeah, it was pretty quick. But as we look back up at this battle yet again for the lead, Wade actually has managed to create a bit of a gap coming across the line now. He's managed to create a gap to about 8 or 9 tenths of a second, and as I say that as well, Wade puts in the fastest lap of the race so far. So Wade's not hanging around trying to build the gap. He'll build a little bit of a gap as much as possible to try and hold the lead, but as Miles and Vaughan Roberts are battling away for second behind him, they're heading down to turn 2. It looks like Miles is going to try and go around the outside, but he decides to tuck in behind. And it looks like Vaughan Roberts is going wide ever so slightly, and I think this might give Adam Miles the advantage to try and get a run as they head down to turn 4, and Miles decides not to try and make a move. He's not close enough, and yeah, these guys are. Wade's just managing to pull away ever so slightly, managing to soak up the pressure. It looks like Terry McGrofer's had issues. It looks like he might have spun on the exit of the first corner, maybe just got in the power too much. But as this lead battle comes through to the chicane, it's still Wade leading with Vaughan Roberts in second. As we look at the replay of Terry McGrofer now, and it looks like it might have been contact actually. Patrick Bennett who got caught up in that as well? Yeah, he got caught up unfortunately. So yeah, just a bit of contact. These guys batting away really close, and unfortunately just something had to give, and unfortunately it did give. But as this lead battle comes through the final few corners yet again, we're on lap 8 already, and it's amazing to think that this race has went by really quickly, and Nathan Wade up at the front still soaking up the pressure, and while these guys behind squabble amongst themselves for second and third place. And Nick Vaughan Roberts puts in the fastest lap of the race so far. So the fastest laps of the race so far have been kind of traded between Nathan Wade and Nick Vaughan Roberts, and these guys are pretty much pushing each other every lap, and you can tell these guys want to win the race. But Nathan Wade is not doing anything too erratic or overdriving. He's just doing what he needs to do and placing his car in the right places. As it looks like we've got Conor Maddock joining us.
Yeah, you've been doing an absolutely fantastic job so far in this one, Ryan. A great job on the solo commentary so far. I'm just here to bail you out a little bit here in this one. As we are coming towards those very final couple of laps here, and well, it does seem like Wade has walked away with things a little bit at the very front of the field, 6/10 of a second between himself and Vaughan Roberts for the moment. It seems like the fighting is a little bit behind your leader at the moment.
Yeah, it's pretty much been a race for second place at the moment. Nathan Wade, he's just been doing a great job, keep staying at the front and just kind of maintaining the pace and just doing enough to keep that gap. But as I look back at the battle for fourth place or fifth place rather, with Clark Wowens and Andrew Leach and Seth Brown, surprisingly this three-car battle has not been losing too much touch with the front runners. So if anything was to happen up at the front, these guys could capitalise.
Certainly the case. You never quite know what happens here at the end of these Skip Barber races. That's for certain. It's been a very long time, by the way, since I've commentated on a Monday Night Skippys event proper without also producing it. So this is something new to me. But let's have a look then, because you have the very famous green and black of Williams there, and a couple of well, he's going to have quite a task to hold on to this position for now. He doesn't, of course, have any help in terms of the slipstream from cars ahead ahead of him, but as you've no doubt have already discussed, Ryan, the slipstream is not as potent at this circuit, so it's more reliant on the driver skill through the corners to be able to make things happen. You've got Leach, you've got Brown behind in this one as the latter two look to go side by side, as now Clark Williams has to try and defend down into turn number 1 as well. Leach on the inside gets a little bit too loose, and a puff of white smoke for his issues, but they're able to keep it together.
Yep, absolutely. As Williams is going to have the inside for turn 2, so even though Williams ran wide on the exit of turn 1, he manages to hold the inside for turn 2 and manages to regain that position. And Andrew Leach as well, he could have threw it up the inside, but he decided to just be sensible and slow it down just enough to make sure he didn't plough into the side of Williams. But as we ride on board the Leach, heading up to turn 4, he's right behind Williams. And Clark Williams is, I've said that in previous broadcasts, he's one of those drivers that he won't do anything silly. He's a sensible driver, and he's always happy to lose a position or two until maybe the final couple of laps, and then that's when he'll try and get more involved in a battle.
Certainly is beneficial when the racings can be a little chaotic sometimes, but look at how close Leach is here, following in towards the little S's section in the middle to the latter portion of the lap here at the Hungaroring. This is a very downforce dependent section in, well, higher powered cars, shall we say, but the Skippys, even though they do have wings on them, still not too much in the downforce department. And, well, Clark Williams getting a big old slide there, coming out of the right hand turn of turn 11 into the braking zone of turn 12, then still a line astern behind him, so he hasn't come under threat just yet, apart from that one time down in towards turn number 1. But with how unstable these guys are, I always am afraid that one of these guys is going to spin and end up in the wall at some point, but hopefully that doesn't happen and we can have a good battle for 5th.
Absolutely, as they come into the final corner now, and it's been a great battle between these threes. It's been really close. They've been treating each other with respect. As Williams moves to the right, trying to break that slipstream, but Leach moves to the right to stay in that slipstream as well. So heading down to turn 1, and it looks like Leach is going to try and go to the outside, maybe try and do a bit of a switchback on the exit of turn 1. He actually brakes really late on the outside, maybe trying to get the move done on the outside, but he can't. And again, Williams defends brilliantly into turn 1, holds that position as they head down to turn 2.
It does. He's been really good at trying to defend that line in towards turn number 1. It is basically your primary overtaking opportunity here at the Hungaroring, and well, as long as you're able to cover that one off, you're pretty okay throughout the rest of the circuit, as long as you can string these corners together in a coherent fashion. Leach looking to try and get the run up in towards that very fast right-hander, the blind left-hander of turn number 4 here. Of course, you have a little bit more time to react here in these Skip Barber cars, but now here comes the challenge to the outside of turn 5. Leach is not going to find all that much progress out on the outside there. He has to be conscious of the driver behind him as well. Maybe a move down into the chicane, lay on the brakes could be an option heading into the final couple of laps here, but we haven't really seen that over the last couple of laps that I've been here. But now in towards that very single line section where sometimes these guys are struggling to keep a hold of the cars. The back end's going out as they tend to do here in these Skip Barbers, but I'm very interested to see how this one turns out though.
Yeah, me too. It's I think this battle will pretty much go down to the final lap as they ride them from the rear of Clark Williams. Look at the Andrew S. Leach and Seth Brown. These guys fall back ever so slightly, but they'll probably make that back up in the final corner. But I'm just taking a look up at the front from my view. It looks like Nathan Wade and Nick Vaughan Roberts have managed to pull away from the battle for third place between Miles, Mattock and Miles and Mattock. So yeah, it looks like this squadron has kind of broken this pack up as they come across the line to start the final lap.
Here we go then. Now's do or die. Vaughan Roberts hasn't really been in the position to try and get up into the race lead just yet in this final portion of the race, but he has closed up a good couple of tenths of a second here in these final laps, so maybe he might have a last-ditch effort here at the end of the final lap. He has no pressure from behind. Miles still remains about that second, if not more, behind, so he can just focus on the task right now, and he is getting closer and closer. Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, it's getting a lot closer now, and I think Vaughan Roberts, he's not close enough though. He needed to get a better exit and to try and carry that momentum and carry the speed and get closer, but he's not close enough. As Nathan Wade, I have to say, he's been soaking up the pressure absolutely brilliantly for most of this race. He pulled away at one point, but Vaughan Roberts has managed to pull away from that battle for third place and close that gap back down. But as it comes down to the chicane, Wade's just needs to hit his marks and not let the pressure get to him, as Vaughan Roberts gets close down around the braking and absolutely throws that car into the chicane.
Now the opportunities are starting to go away from them. Vaughan Roberts still that 3-4 tenths of a second behind. You can see how much he's pushing the car as well, abusing the track limits out of the right-hander there. I have to wonder if he's going to do so again here through turn number 11, just to try and carry the momentum, and yes, he does. My word, Vaughan Roberts is using every single inch of the track possible, maybe even collecting a couple of 1Xs to try and make sure he's close enough down into this final sector in a couple of moments' time.
Absolutely, as they come into the final couple of corners now, Vaughan Roberts is right on the back of Nathan Wade. His last opportunity is going to be into the final corner. He needs to try and get a good exit, but Nathan Wade absolutely just not letting the pressure get to him. As they come round the final corner, Vaughan Roberts is going to try and get a good exit, and he gets a good exit. He's going to try and use that slip seam as they come across the line, and Nathan Wade is going to take the win in the Monday night Skippys here at the Hungaroring. Fantastic race with Adam Mills rounding at the podium in the top three and George Matic finishing in fourth. And then Clark Williams is going to finish in fifth with Andrew Leach in sixth, and wow, what a last lap battle.
Yeah, it got close, but I think if you're Vaughan Roberts in that situation, it's always the same old story of, oh, if I just had one more lap, because he had the run out of the final corner that time around on that final lap. The thing is, it was the checkered flag being shown at the starter's stands that meant the race was over there and then, and we didn't have one more lap to go, that he could have then used that run to challenge down in towards turn number one. So unfortunate there for Vaughan Roberts, but I think he'll still be very happy with a P2, and big props to Clark Williams for holding on to a position as well, with two very feisty drivers behind him.
Yeah, absolutely. That battle of Williams and Leach and Seth Brown was fantastic. They gave each other respect. They didn't do anything silly, and Clark Williams holding on to fifth place like you mentioned, and it was an absolutely fantastic race. But as we wait rather for the final drivers to cross the line and complete the finish, and yeah, I have to say it was a great race as well up at the front. Nathan Wade just soaking up the pressure brilliantly, and I think I have to say, from my view anyway, that's probably his best drive of the season. He could have cracked under the pressure from Vaughan Roberts, but just kept it cool. Well, you could say Kimi Räikkönen cool if you like.
Yeah, possibly, as we wait for the number 25. Yeah, but a machine to head out the final corner across the line should be one of your final runners here, which will then allow us to go over the official race results here from the Hungaroring. Of course, new track here on iRacing, and first time Monday Night Skippys has taken itself to this racetrack. Here's the rundown, Ryan.
Absolutely, as Nathan Wade takes the win in first place, with Nick Vaughan Roberts close behind in second, with Adam Mills rounding out the top three in third, and then George Matic close by for company in fourth, with Clark Williams fifth, Andrew Leach in sixth, seventh was Seth Brown, and then eighth was Christopher Miles, with Greg Roth in ninth, and then rounding out the top 10 was Dave Dawson. And then finishing in 11th was Chris Wayne, with Tony Stack in 12th, Martin Armitage in 13th, John McDonald in 14th, Jeff Randall 15th, with Jonathan Rex in 16th, 17th was Daniel Tuss, with Craig Tollett's in 18th, 19th was Dave Clapham, with 20th going to Terry McGrofer. And then 21st was the first of the runners a lap down, Dave Devine in 21st, with Patrick Bennett, the first of the retirements, in 22nd, 23rd Sarah Savage, and 24th Peter Cowan, Peter Pyle, and rounding out the results was Alan Patterson.
Yep, so that's the top to tail of the fields here today, and it seems like very quickly after his race win here, Nathan Wade has decided to join us in the commentary booth. I've never seen anyone decide to join up to the RaceSpot TeamSpeak as fast as he has after a race win here today. So maybe we can get ourselves a word with him in just a couple of moments' time. But of course, you know, I was only able to join you guys for the final few laps of that one. But Ryan, why don't you take it away with your race winner?
Absolutely, as Nathan Wade, the race winner at the Hungaroring tonight. Nathan, absolutely fantastic drive. You soaked up the pressure from Nick Von Roberts in the closing stages. How was that for you? I bet that was a bit nerve-wracking.
Hi guys. Definitely my strongest Skippy race I've ever had. I think it all comes down to quali as well, because obviously it was open quali, and everyone at the start of the session was just kind of trying to get into a nice pack, like a kind of nice like 3-car pack to try and get a tow. And I was just, my focus is I can set a quick lap without the tow. I want to get straight to the front of that pack and just start setting laps. And my quali time was unreal. I couldn't believe I did that. But the race, I was sweating the whole way, to be honest. I was constantly trying to just break that draft. And then the last few laps, when I knew Nick was behind me, I was getting a little bit rusty. I made a couple of mistakes, but overall, I think it was a dominant performance, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching you from my perspective. I mean, I was watching your pace, and it was really good. You and Nick were trading fastest lap after fastest lap, but that was absolutely fantastic. And what did you think when you were pulling away at one point from second, third, and fourth? And did you think you could just relax, or did you think, no, I can't relax, even though I've got a bit of a gap? But what was going through your mind?
When there was a couple of, I can't remember, George got in front of me on lap one. And I was like, I'm not going to make any silly moves. I'll just try and warm up my tyres as best as possible. And then at the end of lap one, I'll go straight past him because I knew I could be quicker on the exit of the last corner, which I did. And then as soon as I saw Adam was behind me, I know from past races this week, I could potentially pull away from him. I just have to make no mistakes. The guy I was worried about was actually Nick. I think George had some bad luck because I was kind of worried about him at the start, but he just seemed to drop off with Adam in the end. But yeah, no mistakes was kind of my mindset, and I managed to do that. So I'm really happy with the result, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that was like you say, that was your best drive in this series so far, and I was saying it on the final lap as well. You kept your cool and you kept your composure, and you didn't let it get to you, even though you said you were sweating buckets. But looking ahead to the next race at Laguna Seca next week, do you think you can get back on the top step of the podium, or do you think again it's going to be like tonight? It's going to be really close.
To be honest, I didn't expect to be I didn't expect the race to go as well as it did tonight. So I'm expecting the same next week. It's going to be a hard race. It's going to be nice draft, but I really like the track, so I am looking forward to it. If I can have the same sort of pace I had here, then really looking forward to it, to be honest. So yeah.
And lastly, before we let you go, Nathan, anyone that you want to give a shout out or thank you to?
Shout out to the back mark. I can't even remember who it was during the race, but that was probably my scariest moment in that race. So shout out to him for not going side by side with me and actually backing out of that corner. You guys run the broadcast always. You always do a great job, and then Alan for running the league.
Good stuff. Well, again, congratulations on a well-deserved victory, Nathan, and look forward to seeing you on track at Laguna Seca next week.
Cheers, guys.
That was race winner Nathan Wade joining us, and I believe up next we will have second place finisher Nick Von Robert with us.
Yeah, standing by with Nick Von Roberts here, and Nick, so close but yet so far at the very end there. I did say at the right after you guys come across the line, if it's always the case of if you had one more lap, you might have been able to make that one work, right?
Yeah, possibly. I sort of every time I was getting that a little bit closer, I either made a mistake or back marker or something, and then yeah, I needed one more lap just to get alongside down that home straight, because there's not really many other places to pass. But it's a great race, and fair play to Nathan. Kept that lead all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great performance, but you did almost get there, and it takes, I would suppose, a different kind of racing here at the Hungaroring compared to a lot of other tracks that we go to. Of course, new track on the iRacing service, a track that not many people have really practiced in the Skip Barber cars. Whether or not they've practiced it on other platforms is a different issue, but due to the fact that maybe the slipstream isn't as potent here, do you have to really think about these races just a bit differently here in the Skippys?
Yeah, you've really got to just stick behind, try and keep close for the whole lap, and then hope on the back straight you can get enough for toe to get alongside, and then it's still 50-50 going into turn 1 and turn 2. So it is really tricky to overtake. It's all about little mistakes here and there. Makes the difference, I think. But yeah, it was fast track as well, so it was a good race.
Yeah, do you prefer races like this one where it's more dependent on the skill rather than the positioning, even though the positioning has an element of skill in it as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's much more interesting as racing goes, rather than just sort of if it's a huge tow, you can just sit back and fourth, third, and then you can usually pass 2 cars on the straight, and it just sort of it's so much better when you're having to fight for those little mistakes here and there. Yeah.
So, but regardless, it is a fantastic result in the bag, and is the season looking up for you now?
Yeah, improved. I had a bit of a bad start, and obviously got the win last week, which sort of helped. And now it's sort of hopefully I can carry this on till the end of the season and at least be maybe in touch with the top guys. See how it goes, because Wills seems to have missed a couple of races, so I'm not sure if he's going to drop back now as well. So it should be an interesting sort of second half, definitely.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it here, and we wish you the best of luck with the next couple of races. Hopefully it continues on the theme of the, high steps on the podium. Yeah,
great. Thanks a lot, guys, and thank you for the stream as well.
Not a problem. That was Nick Von Roberts finishing in second place here today, Ryan.
Indeed, as if I get up next, we're going to have third place finisher Adam Miles joining us, and Adam Miles was involved in that battle for the lead in the early stages of the race. But Adam, it seemed to be you ended up dropping back with George towards the end of the race. What was up?
Nothing was up really. I think Nathan was just too quick this week. I was in a race with him earlier, and I knew from that race that I thought, I know he's going to be a bit too quick here. He had probably 2 or 3 tenths on me, and his qualifying lap was really good as well. So the aim was really probably just to stick with him. Nick got past, and then we started fighting. I think I got ahead of Nick. We swapped places a few times, and then I think Nathan was quick. Nick went with him, and I just gradually lost a tenth a lap and just couldn't. The tow's not as powerful here. If you're 6 or 7 tenths back, it's you're not gaining all of it back on a single straight like you might at Road Atlanta. So just quicker than me today. No excuses.
Yeah, we saw in the early stages as well. We had that battle going on, or 4-car battle, I think it was, for the lead, and it was kind of everyone was moving around on the home straight trying to break the slipstream. But did you think the slipstream around here mattered that much, or was it just a case of it all came down to the driver in front of you making a mistake?
Well, there's only one place to pass here really without a mistake. So I mean, the slipstream is probably a moderate track for slipstream, but if you don't make the move into turn 1, you're probably going to have to wait until turn 1 on the next lap. So it's really just about follow my leader, get a good exit from the last corner, and if you're within 3 or 4 tenths, then you can make a move into turn 1. But as long as you're close enough, the slipstream's not that important. You've just got to be close.
And looking ahead to the championship this season, even though it's still early stages of the race, do you think, is your aim to try and take the championship again, or do you think there's going to be other people involved, or who do you think will be the main contenders this season that will be challenging you?
I mean, obviously we've got no Benny this season, and it looks like Will's probably now dropped 1 too many races I think he can only do 9 sort of point scoring races now. So, but Nick's there, Nathan's there, George is there, even Kevin Budgeon, if he can do 10 races. I think he's missed today, but just slightly different crowd, but still very quick drivers. So yeah, the aim is definitely to try and take the championship. had one bad race at Hockenheim where I underfueled the car and finished, I think, P9. So we'll drop that one, and then just no reason why not.
And lastly, looking ahead to Laguna Seca, is that a track that you love with this car?
I wouldn't say I love Laguna Seca. It's kind of I think it's one of the original iRacing tracks, and it's I've done it plenty. There's nothing new about it. There's nothing too interesting about it, other than the corkscrew, which is always fun. See who wants to send it down the inside and into the corkscrew. But yeah, it's an alright track.
And lastly, before we let you go, Adam, anyone that you want to give a thank you to?
You guys, as always, for doing the broadcast. Alan for hosting. Nathan for the dominant victory, for the thoroughly well deserved, and my friend Hannah for watching all the races and cheering me on.
Great stuff. Well, again, congratulations on the third place, Adam, and we look forward to seeing you on track at Laguna Seca next week.
Thanks a lot.
As I believe up next, lastly, we've got a fourth place finisher, George Mattock, who was involved in that league battle and eventually was a battle for the final podium position.
Yeah, absolutely. George, it seemed like the opening portion of the race went relatively well for you. You started in second place after a decent qualifying, got up into first, you led a lap, but just tell me what happened from that point forwards.
Yeah, we just put on the show, usual Monday night carnage for you guys. Got to put some entertainment at the front. No, it was it was a good fun race. So I had a little bit of netcode at turn 1 on the second lap. Obviously Nathan had a nice draft down the straight, so tried to hang it around the outside. Got a little bit loose and brought it back, and then I just got a random netcode bump from Nathan, which bumped me a little wide, and then obviously when that happens you just lose momentum, and yeah, it's pretty much game over from there. I lost the place from Nick and Adam, and yeah, those guys were just trying to close up, but I think with the cold tyres and the high fuel loads it's a little bit tricky to keep it on the edge, and they were making a couple of small errors here and there, so I was being quite patient, thinking we would eventually catch up to Nathan with the draft, but yeah, just these little mistakes, and then going side by side in front, just had a little bit of a slow one towards the end, so I just had to sit there and take fourth. But I'm actually very happy that I finished, because 5 minutes before qualifying my wheel was not working at all. It was completely broken, so yeah, I'm just happy to eat the points for P4 and move on to next week.
Well, I'm glad you were able to get that wheel issue resolved. I think most of us sim racers have been through that, where things have gone wrong last minute, and you just have to try and find a solution. But well, at least getting this one out of the way now. We've been and done the Hungaroring. Do you like it in the Skippy?
I mean, I love the track. I just think it's a little bit tedious, a little bit boring. I'm not sure what the coverage was like from you guys, apart from the first couple of laps. But it's actually really difficult to pass. Obviously, Hamilton found that out against Fernando here, and it was difficult to do it in the Skippys, particularly with the draft and stuff. It's a tight and technical circuit. If you make a small error in a critical part, you're going to lose a couple tenths, and then it could be race over. But it's a fun track. I'm not sure it's too suited to the Skippy, but I think next week is Laguna Seca, which is one of my favourite ever tracks. So I'm really looking forward to that one, and that should handle this car really well.
Yeah, we do tend to see fantastic racing on the regular when it comes to Laguna Seca, so we're certainly looking forward to that. Of course, you're still in the top region of the championship, shall we say? And of course, we're getting towards what is this, round number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're kind of at the halfway point when we head to Laguna Seca next time out. Would you say your experience have been positive so far, and what are your expectations for the second half of the season?
Yeah, I mean, pace-wise, it's been quite good, but definitely step forward from last year, and obviously I've only done it for a couple of seasons, so yeah, it's good being at the front every week. And obviously, it's the pace between all 4 or 5 of us, if we're always here, is very close, so it's always going to be close racing, close battling. I had some bad luck. Obviously, everyone has a little bit of bad luck. I had my bad luck a couple of races ago. I just didn't make it to turn 2, got ploughed into, but yeah, and then obviously there's a couple of other crashes, but everyone has bad luck. I can't moan, so yeah, just got to keep going and next week. Yeah, I absolutely love that track. I haven't driven it in the Skippy actually, but yeah, handle was amazing in the Cup car, in the Porsche Cup car at this track. So should be fun, and the rest of the season looks really nice. Obviously, rounding off at Brands Hatch will be really cool as well. I think it's the GP circuit. I think maybe the Indy circuit would be a little too short, but it should be an exciting end. Anyone can win it.
Wouldn't be a UK and Ireland Championship without having a finale at Brands Hatch, so that's going to be absolutely fantastic. But we will let you go now, and well, best of luck in your future endeavours, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.
Thank you guys. Cheers. Appreciate the broadcast as well. Thanks for that.
Not a problem. George Maddock there, finishing 4th here today, Ryan, and well, he's already my preference because he has a very similar last name to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think George has been one of those drivers that he's been there and thereabouts when it comes to getting his first win. Could have took a win at Road Atlanta not too long ago. I think it was last season or the season before, but unfortunately issues ended up striking. But I think you'll eventually get his first win. But I have to say that race tonight around Hungary was absolutely fantastic, and as you can see on the screen right now, the schedule for the remaining races, we've got Laguna second next week, followed by Snetterton on November the 1st, and then Mid-Ohio, Nürburgring GP, Red Bull Ring, Kota, and the finale, which I'm looking forward to, that is Brands Hatch.
Yeah, absolutely, and interesting thing to note, round number 11, Kota, the West layout as well, so a different configuration of the Circuit of the Americas there that we're going to be heading to, so it's definitely want to stay posted for that one. But yeah, like you said, Laguna Seca up next to sort of finish off this first half of the season before we get into the second half at Snetterton. Still very much all to play for us in terms of championship racing. I get the feeling this series has always been very, very competitive, and it has been for the years and years and years and years that we've been broadcasting at this point. It's always a pleasure to bring these races to everyone, just to show that the Skippys at the top level is so competitive, and these guys show it every week in, week out.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I think that's all we've got time for. And yeah, thanks to anyone that's been watching the broadcast tonight. And make sure to tune in again next week for Laguna Seca. But yeah, that has been the UK&I Monday Night Skippy, sponsored by the campaign against living miserably. But yeah, thanks to Connie for joining us, and Tyler for doing the cameras. But thanks to everyone that's been watching, and we will see you next week.